All right, guys, let's get into our Monday Night Raw review. Jack and I are here, and he's got a totally different look. It must be super warm in Nevada right now because we've lost the mullet, we've lost the facial hair, we've lost his identity, and what the fuck, dude?
Oh, I may have lost the mullet. I may have lost the beard. I have not lost the charm. I have not lost the good looks. And I have not lost my ability to review Monday Night Raw on the Straight Shoot channel with MrTeshk. So before anybody starts getting worried, I'm still the same old person. I was getting too popular, like I said with the chat. I was getting too popular with you guys with the mullet. They were turning me babyface. I said, no. I am a heel through and throughout. Cut everything off that makes me likable. I am a heel through and through. I am a New York Jets fan wearing my Tom Brady Michigan Wolverines jersey tonight. I am a heel in the professional wrestling content space, and don't you ever forget it.
All right. Well, on that note, you did mention one thing that was correct in that whole statement is that we came off a decent Monday Night Raw. And let's start with the great opening segment between CM Punk and LA Knight. And before we go into the back and forth there, I think WWE were very smart in kicking the show off with CM Punk, considering the online rumors that the show was going to get hijacked with "We Want Cross" chants, which we'll talk more about Karrion Kross on another video. But I think WWE was really smart with the entire Karrion Kross. We're gonna squash this as fast as we can, send out the guy who's gonna get the hottest chants, and then send out the second guy who's gonna get the second hottest chants in CM Punk and LA Knight. What an opening segment, and very smart by WWE.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how this whole Karrion Kross situation plays out, if they're in cahoots for work or if he's legitimately gone and maybe we see him in a different company within the next 90 days if he's got that, like a 90-day
yeah, it's always 90
clause
days
that they have, right? But CM Punk, LA Knight kicking off the show. Those are two guys you've wanted to see in the ring since they were on TV together back in 2011 when CM Punk was trying to take out Kevin Nash and police officer LA Knight tried to stop him, right? Here we are, 14 years later, and we have, like you said, the two hottest guys that were going to get the biggest pops, CM Punk and LA Knight. Yeah, in the ring at the same time, probably most likely. At the time, I thought we were going to get a triple threat match for Clash in Paris. It looked like they were going that route with the main event being Punk and LA Knight versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. I hate the tag team name of the Braun Brawns. The dumbest thing ever. I think they need to just call them the Vision on TV. They want to promote that name as the faction, just call them the Vision. That's all you got to do. Braun Brawns just sounds terrible. They just sound like two meatheads, essentially, who lose every tag team match they're in, by the way. They have yet to win as a tag team on WWE television. They need a big win here coming up soon. They lost at SummerSlam to Roman and Jey. They technically lost by disqualification tonight to Punk and LA Knight. But Punk and Knight had a great back and forth promo. I would say LA Knight had the better of the verbal jabs against CM Punk tonight. And I think the chat would agree. I think Steve would agree. I thought there were some moments where Punk didn't really hit his punchlines. It was very unlike Phil Brooks tonight. But LA Knight was able to pick up the pieces.
It's so funny because my next question, you must have been looking over, fly on the wall, looking at my notes, because the next thing right on below opening segment was great, was felt like LA Knight won the war of words tonight. And I even mentioned in my stream that it seemed like CM Punk was struggling with the finish of every single line he was trying to put across, and LA Knight was getting him over the line, which is very unique and unlike CM Punk. So it's wild that we were both on the same mindset as that, because that was where I wanted to go with this. Was it too many hours or too many dates that CM Punk's been working? Is he tired? Jet lag? Is too much going on? Was he in against a better competitor, that someone's better on the mic finally, like the best in the world is starting to slow down? I'm not saying these as hot takes. I'm just saying as a conversational way of looking at it. Was CM Punk just having an off night, or is there something else to this?
I think what separates CM Punk and LA Knight is that CM Punk is known for being harsh and brutally honest on the mic. It's not so much him hitting his punchlines perfectly, though he's very capable of doing that. It's
Yeah.
not so much that's his strong suit. It's more so that he tells the honest goddamn truth, and that's what gets people invested about CM Punk. So I'm not necessarily worried that his punchlines didn't hit, because that's not necessarily why we listen to CM Punk. It's because he tells the truth. Where LA Knight, on the other hand, is a punchline machine. That's his whole thing, is hitting his punchline. And don't get it twisted, LA Knight, even though he had a strong promo tonight against CM Punk, I would argue that he's kind of mixed and mumbled his words in past promos over the past couple weeks. I think last week against Seth Rollins, he actually had to say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry," and continued to finish his promo against Seth Rollins last week, because he's all about, it's like an old school Rock and Stone Cold mash with LA Knight's promo skills, right? Like it's very attitude era, it's very catchphrase, it's very charismatic. It's also very real, and that's why people resonate with LA Knight, but at the same time, it's all about the punch. It's all about the bite with his promos, where all CM Punk has to do is tell the truth in his promos. Yeah, his punchlines didn't land tonight, and LA Knight's did, and it made LA Knight look great, which I think is what you want, even though, LA Knight is a little bit older and getting this massive push later on in his career. But CM Punk is 47 years old. I'm not saying that, it's too much time on the road, like you said. I don't think it's necessarily that, even though on social media he's constantly showing you his Apple Watch and showing that he gets 0 sleep every single night, touring to city to city to city to city. But no, I mean, it just, maybe to us it was an off night. I think a lot of people would agree, but at the same time, he was in the ring with a guy who's just as good on the microphone.
There you
Still
go.
a great promo.
Great promo, and overall a really exceptional opening segment, considering what we all expected from tonight's Monday Night Raw and how we were going to start it off. Okay, I want to touch on just something quick. I am maybe the biggest mark for the Judgment Day Clubhouse segments. I don't know if anyone else enjoys these as much as I do, but tonight's slight short segment, I don't want to spend too much time on this, but the whole Dominic Mysterio bringing El Grande Americano into the clubhouse, and Finn Balor kind of selling it and being like, "Hey, can I speak to you alone?" And then walking 5 feet away and being like, "Hey, mate, read the room." Like, the back and forth between Finn and Dom is obviously so good, but like, it seems like major stories are told in this clubhouse. And for some reason, I just enjoy them maybe a little bit more than everybody else.
I mean, you can go back to 2 years ago when R-Truth was just there when they showed up at the clubhouse, back when Damian and Rhea were still in the group, right? Showing up with his as he called them, his Emmy Music nominated award-winning jelly rolls, because his face was just covered in powder the whole time, and he just kept showing up week after week after week after week after week. Even though there were so many breaking points with Damian Priest, they kicked his ass like dozens of times, he still showed up every single week as if he thought he was a member of the Judgment Day, cutting everybody in on their cut when he was selling those t-shirts in the arena that everybody was buying, right? Like, that was so awesome. And then they bring in Liv Morgan, they kick out Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. Now they're adding Roxanne Perez now that she's tag team champions with Raquel Rodriguez. Since Liv Morgan's hurt, it's just kind of like the same story with different people. But you're right, those segments every single week are golden. And special shout out and special acknowledgement to Carlito, who was playing video games during the entire duration of his second run since joining the Judgment Day back in, I believe it was like early 2024 and then early 2025 before they released him. Great guy, future Hall of Famer, Carlito, one of the best personalities that the WWE has ever had, in my opinion. But yeah, you're right. There's always great storytelling coming out of it. And it's always like, is something going to happen? They're obviously building to something. Obviously, they're building to Liv and Roxanne. They've been building to Finn and Dom since even before WrestleMania, before that Fatal 4-Way match. But then obviously after Dom pinned him to win the title at WrestleMania, like, like this is going to lead to Finn versus Dom at some point. And I'm assuming that they're going to hold off for a long time, probably till WrestleMania 42, if I were a betting man. But week after week after week, we're getting great stories. And now that El Grande Americano and Dominic Mysterio are working hand in hand together, not just El Grande Americano, but El Grande Americano 2 and El Grande Americano 3 and El Grande Americano 4, all working in tandem with Dominic Mysterio makes for great TV.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great segue. I had 2 points, especially on Dominic Mysterio. Dominic Mysterio this weekend. We had a great match, which El Grande Americano pinning AJ Styles was not on my 2025 bingo card. Like that's atrocious. It's sacrilegious. I am so confused on how they allowed that booking, but okay, we're going to go with it. Dominic Mysterio, El Grande pick up the tag team win against Dragon Lee and AJ Styles. And this leads into Dominic Mysterio this weekend in a fatal 4-way with El Grande Americano, I believe Vikingo. I cannot remember who the 4th member of that match is at the moment. But for the AAA Mega Championship, I'm saying this right now. Dominic Mysterio on Monday night next week is walking in with the IC title and the AAA Mega Championship. It has to happen. If you want to put AAA on the map, you have that title on Monday Night Raw. Sorry, Dragon Lee is the other person involved. So the three of the 4 in this match tonight are in this fatal 4-way at AAA this weekend. Dominic Mysterio, I think, is the clear-cut winner of this match. It has to. He's so hot right now.
I'll play devil's advocate to that.
Okay.
Dominic Mysterio is the clear-cut favorite to win the AAA World Championship this weekend, this Saturday. As long as Chad Gable doesn't come back early and finds a way to have his version of El Grande Americano steal the victory away from him. And then that continues the whole storyline of El Grande Americano with the OG El Grande Americano. Not to give it away that it's Chad Gable, but come on, let's be honest. That to me is a scenario where they have a fantastic in-ring fatal 4-way match between all 4 competitors, Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee, Vikingo, and a version of El Grande Americano, only for the original El Grande Americano to show his face towards the end of the match, hit whoever he wants to hit, let's say Dragon Lee in the face with that gold blade that he puts in his mask. 1, 2, 3 becomes the AAA World Champion. Is that a fair assessment to say that that could happen this Saturday?
It is a very fair assessment. I just think it has to do with Chad Gable's ability to heal. He had a pretty serious shoulder injury. I still think it's quite early. And I think with the depth of the WWE roster these days, they are taking the health and safety and the recovery time of their talent a lot more seriously than they were, say, pre-pandemic. You know what I mean? Like, it seemed like certain wrestlers would go out with a knee injury and return 7 months after an ACL injury, but they would be out shortly thereafter with kind of a minor injury back to the knee. So I like the booking, but when I think the whole picture of what WWE is trying to do, I think that's why we didn't see Liv at SummerSlam as well. I think they're really protecting, like, get yourself fully healed. We don't need you to rush back. But I do see that playing out in the future.
Seth Rollins to rush back. They gave Seth Rollins 3 weeks for his torn MCL. I mean, come on, give the guy a break. Now he has to be the world heavyweight champion for the next year with a torn MCL. It just doesn't make sense.
You're wild,
but
dude.
Who's to say that Chad Gable wasn't given a couple of months to just, hey, have a fun vacation, go on vacation with your wife. We'll continue this El Grande Americano story that we've built out and played out for the next few months, and then you shock the world. They're eliminating the idea that there are real and kayfabe injuries on TV anymore.
That is very true. That is very true. So either way, are you going to be watching AAA this weekend?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, all right.
I'm going to watch just to say I told you so when Chad Gable returns this Saturday.
Fair enough. You might have the inside scoop. You might have the script for once, and I don't. Sami Zayn, and this might be a long part of this conversation. Is Sami Zayn stuck in a bloodline vortex? Sami can't get out of it.
Well, here's the thing. He can't get out of it, and he can't rely on his other, the guy that he would rely on is Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens is out indefinitely.
Yeah.
So the only other storyline that you could put Sami Zayn at this point was with Karrion Kross, and now we're supposed to believe that Karrion Kross is no more.
Mm-hmm.
Beat him twice, too, which would make you believe that Karrion Kross is legitimately no more. Now you have an opportunity to put him in, long-term storytelling, to put him in the world title scene, which is what everybody, I think, wants to. Everybody wants to see Sami Zayn win the world championship at some point in the next 12 months. Like, everybody would really, nobody would be like, oh, come on, man. Like, nobody wants to see this. Everyone wants to see Sami Zayn do well. But, like, what else can you put him in if he's not in the world title picture and he doesn't have, like, a formidable opponent to say, I'm going to invest in this moving forward? And I don't necessarily think that this bloodline story, I mean, they're not the bloodline, they're the MFTs, right?
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that this is like the greatest storyline ever, because, I mean, how long has he been feuding with Solo Sikoa? Maybe not just Solo Sikoa one-on-one, but like, using the bloodline all of 2022, early 2023. Early and mid 2023 was facing Solo Sikoa for the tag team titles, I believe, at Night of Champions in 2023. Like, we've told this story before. I mean, the bloodline War Games match last year. I mean, we've seen this. We've seen this. Is Jacob Fatu no longer in the title picture for the U.S. title since he's lost to Solo twice now? Like,
we don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go ahead.
No, I didn't have much food for thought on that. But, like, Sami Zayn going after the United States Championship and going after the MFTs, if he wins, it hurts Solo. And I don't think they want to hurt Solo. If he loses, it hurts Sami. So I don't know where they're going with it.
And that was my second part. I had two parts on Sami, the world title conversation. I'm on the other side of the fence with this compared to with what you said. I want to know why they're even having the conversation right now about Sami being in the world title picture when I don't see a path for Sami. Right now, there are too many people in the main event scene, in the CM Punks, the Jey Usos, the LA Knights. Those are three top guys. You could throw Roman in there if you wanted, if he's not going to film this movie for an extended period of time. He's already been announced for next week's Monday Night Raw, so we're going to see Roman on the 18th. So why is WWE almost making Sami's world title run a secondary conversation, but we're not seeing Sami flow into the story of the six men that we just saw at the end of Monday Night Raw? You know what I mean? Like, I want to believe Sami can be a world champion, but I feel the world title picture right now is not even something Sami should be thinking about. Maybe throw him over on SmackDown and try and fit him into a Cody feud and have him turn or something. But that defeats the whole thing he just did with Cross. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't see Sami's path.
So let me play devil's advocate again as the heel on this program. Sami Zayn did a backstage interview last week, I believe, on Monday Night Raw, before Sheamus and Rusev, were fighting forever backstage, and they took out Sami along the process. He was telling either Jackie Redmond or Kathy Kelly, I forget which one it was, that, like, don't be mistaken. Like, I do have those dark thoughts. I did want to hit him with the steel chair. I did want to do this. I do want to do this. Like, it was almost as if he was, like, pre-alluding to maybe a long-term story being told where Sami Zayn does give in to his demons, almost, in a way that Karrion Kross, like, predicted that he would long-term. And then maybe Karrion Kross is just gone for a while, and maybe this Solo Sikoa feud moves Sami Zayn to SmackDown. And maybe Sami Zayn doesn't win the United States Championship, but maybe after Cody Rhodes is done handling his business with Drew McIntyre, maybe Sami Zayn takes on Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship, and maybe, just maybe, Sami Zayn's demons get the best of him, turns heel, and then we see the return of Karrion Kross, and we have some sort of Karrion Kross Sami Zayn partnership on SmackDown in the main event WWE title scene with Cody Rhodes heading into maybe Survivor Series Royal Rumble season. Maybe that's an out of left field, like, pitch,
I think you're throwing a Hail Mary there, but I think
know.
you're throwing a Hail Mary, but I can see it built that way. I can also see, I know it sounds crazy, Clash has been something that has been Drew's baby since the inception. I could see WWE coming out of left field and putting it on Drew, and then Sammy somehow getting over on SmackDown and Sammy Drew. And listen, Sammy Drew, take my money. That would be a awesome feud. That gets Cody away to film his movie as well. Still keep Cena out of the picture and let his run go. You might have something there. You might have something there.
Yeah, I didn't think about that because the Street Fighter, is that the name of the movie?
Yep.
Street Fighter is not being filmed until, I believe, the 1st of September or shortly after that. So, like, Cody and Roman are freed up all the way up until Clash in Paris. Based on the vignette we got tonight from the holder of the Shulafala, I would assume that we're going to see Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed one-on-one in Clash in Paris.
Yeah.
I don't know what they do with Braun Breaker with that, since there's a fatal four-way happening for the world title, but I digress.
A run-in.
And then a Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre WWE Championship match obviously is happening. And yeah, I hate to say it, but if Drew loses, that just makes him look really bad. You know, you just teamed up in the celebrity tag team match at SummerSlam, win, lose, or draw in that. You didn't pick up the pinfall in that match. You didn't look great.
Yeah.
And if you just lose to Cody Rhodes in a kind of like not an important title defense, because, you know, these pay-per-views leading up to like the big four are kind of like the placeholders, even though they're all strong PLEs with strong crowds. We all know the big four is WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and the Royal Rumble. Those are like the big four and even you could say the Royal Rumble being in a title match, the title's probably not changing hands.
No.
So like this is a big title match, but it's also, I hate calling it a filler PLE, but like it's not Survivor Series. It's not WrestleMania, right? But we are in a different era where, you know, Cody Rhodes just won the title at SummerSlam. Cody Rhodes is off to film a movie, though we've talked about it in the past. He wants the John Cena schedule. He wants to be the guy that's on every weekly television show on SmackDown while filming the movie, where Roman's probably going to go away for a month or two. He'll probably be back around Survivor Series after the holder of the Shulafala takes his shoes one more time and hits him with like 6 tsunamis, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
But that is something that could happen. Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. And I will remind you, Steve, Drew McIntyre has beaten Sami Zayn, I believe, like 12 times. He's 12-0 against Sami Zayn. There's a story you could tell. There's a story that the professional wrestling fans who watch your program in the chat, the professional wrestling fans that are all over the internet, that's a match that everybody can sink their teeth into. Is it the amateur fans, you know, Rock versus John Cena? Oh, let's tune into this because there's 2 celebrities. No. But Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre is a wrestling fan's dream title match for the WWE title.
Absolutely. And especially at an event like Clash, they are trying to make Clash something special. But I digress. I think we have a lot more to break down with the Sami Zayn storyline. But before we carry on, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, put the bell on for all notifications that are the Straight Shoot Wrestling channel. Down in the description below, there will be my channel and Jack's O'Hara and Friends channel, where you can go check out some incredible interviews that he has done in the past and upcoming. But Jack, we do this review live, and a follower of mine has just sent a photo and it has now hit your phone. So I would love you to open that and just have a quick little laugh at what was just created. We'll throw it up on screen for the full video.
But don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, I cook, I stream, he kicks some butt. Why are my hands so small? My hands aren't that small.
I don't know. I just don't know.
You know what they say about small hands, Steve? I don't have small hands.
Small feet. Yep. Anyways, moving on. Talking about small feet, Jack. Roxanne Perez versus IYO SKY. This match, up until the finish, I think I will put down as so far one of my matches of the week, and I don't think it's going to move out of the top 3. And I'm talking across all channels. I'm talking AEW, TNA, SmackDown, maybe even AAA. These women really killed this match. And I think it just speaks to what IYO SKY can do in the ring. She complements everyone, and that's not taking away from the prodigy Roxanne Perez, because she works well with talent like the IYO SKYs, like the Asukas, like the Alexa Blisses. This match was awesome until the finish.
Yeah, the finish smelt. You know what it smelt like to me, Steve?
I can't hear you because your hands are in the way of the mic.
You know what it smelled like? Sorry, I'm trying to please the one fan that made that. You know what that smelled like at the end of me? It smelled like San Diego. It smelled like War Game. It smelled like a potential Kabuki Warriors heel turn, joining forces with Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, and maybe throw in Naomi and the Women's World Champion to take on the team of IYO SKY, Rhea Ripley. Throw in two others. I don't know who you want to go with. Maybe Charlotte and Alexa Bliss. And then the fifth member being Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Think about that. Chew on that for a second of what we could possibly see. But it was a great match. I don't think having IYO SKY lose in where she was supposed to have a title match tonight in the main event of Monday Night Raw, losing to Roxanne Perez, made any sense, unless they're like really starting this whole thing early and that we're gonna have a massive War Games match with the 10 people I just mentioned. Because to me, that match was supposed to essentially start the build to a Kabuki Warriors heel turn. I have always thought that Asuka is a way better heel than she is a face.
Yes.
They got involved, even though it was by accident. The backstage altercation showed me that that's just going to be a slow build to a heel turn from them on IYO SKY.
Yeah, exactly. And I smelt the War Games build there as well, and I think you're pretty close with it. I think it's somebody's just said in the chat, and I was thinking the same thing. Perez, Raquel, Naomi, Rhea, Stephanie, IYO, Bliss, Charlotte, and then maybe a returning Liv Morgan. So I think there's that's going to be a hell of a match, though. Like, if you think of the talent that are in there, so that could be absolutely incredible. We did get the backstage segment with Asuka kind of losing her mind, and then, you know, Kairi Sane going full anime character with the shocked face and everything. You know what? I think the Kabuki Warriors would be better as heels, because then we can actually get them in the tag team picture and not face versus face for Alexa and Charlotte, because right now Alexa and Charlotte have no competition. You know, they've already beaten Raquel and Roxanne, and you can't do the same segment every single week, you know what I mean? And this tag team is so hot right now with Alexa and Charlotte. People are really enjoying this. So we need more competition, and I think heel Kabuki Warriors will work nicely and fit nicely into this Alexa Charlotte thing, because all four of them can go in the ring too. That's the thing. All four. Take away the promos and all that kind of stuff, because listen, the Kabuki Warriors on promos is hard to deal with, but put them in the ring together and these four women can cook. So Becky and Maxine, there's more to this, but I know what they're trying to do with elevate talent that haven't been really utilized, and I think this is going to lead to something with Natalya and Becky, maybe at Clash or Night of Champions or something like that. But this one was very difficult for me to enjoy. I know they were trying to show that Maxine has gotten better, but it almost felt beneath Becky, and I'm trying to not be derogatory about it. It just felt very beneath Becky.
Well, her whole mission from a behind-the-scenes standpoint of this is to elevate the Women's Intercontinental Championship and also elevate everybody that she steps in the ring with. She elevated Lyra Valkyria. She elevated Bayley a little bit. I'm assuming they had to pivot to Natalya for Clash in Paris because Nikki Bella is dealing with, you know, injuries / health issues. I didn't really look too much into that, but, you know, speedy recovery to my favorite female wrestler, Nikki Bella.
Yep.
And yeah, tonight she had a chance to elevate Maxine Dupree, who has not been in the ring on WWE TV in a wrestling capacity in a very long time. You know, we've seen her backstage in segments. We've seen her obviously with Otis and Tozawa and now Natalya. And she got an opportunity tonight, and from an on-screen perspective, it fell flat on its face. You're not going to hit a home run every time you go out there, and that was proven tonight. But yeah, I think this is probably them pivoting to Becky Lynch versus Natalya for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. They could play into the fact that the greatest men's Intercontinental Champion of all time is her uncle, the best there was, the best there is, the best there ever will be, Bret the Hitman Hart.
Yeah.
It just didn't. It
doesn't always hit.
It didn't sell. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but that's nothing against Maxine, because I have seen her on a few main event spots before the show, and I have seen she's been progressing really well in the ring, and I know her goal is to become, a full-time staple in the women's division, which I think she'll get there. But that one was just I was struggling through that one to find something positive out of it. But again, that's what Becky's trying to do. She's trying to elevate the IC title, which she has done, and hopefully more talent and more opportunities to the Maxines of the world, goes further. So
what's your take on the Bailey
I was going right into it. That's where we were going next.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, the Bailey promo for me, dude, I sat there and it's something very different that we've not gotten with Bailey. We know the better version of Bailey as a heel. Like, I think everyone prefers Bailey as that heel and horrible human being that she can be, not hugging Izzy in the crowd like she did at NXT and the wacky waving arm flailing tube men. The better version of Bailey is a sadistic version, and I was confused up until she started doing the migraine thing, like hitting the pressure points in the jaw where you normally get migraines, and those are your pressure points. And then it was like a very Wyatt 6 ending, which I'm not saying she's joining the Wyatt 6. Like, come on, guys. Like, let's not go crazy. Bailey doesn't need a faction. But this might have been one of my top highlights of the night, was this promo, because I am very much intrigued on where Bailey's going with this.
Yeah, I mean, it almost, like, when she was like this, it almost reminded me of like the hurt heel gloves from Bray Wyatt's Firefly Funhouse. And I agree with you. I don't think it has anything to do with the Wyatt 6. If it does, awesome. I'd love to see where they can take it, but I feel like the Wyatt 6 is in a good place right now on SmackDown with what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just running roughshod over the men's tag team division. Maybe Nikki Cross needs a tag team partner, and then they go after the women's titles, And now you have a whole dynamic where Bailey just joined the Wyatt 6, while Alexa Bliss is, a baby face with Charlotte Flair, but Alexa Bliss still has that loose tie to Bray Wyatt. Rotunda family. So I don't know. And again, maybe that's out of left field, kind of like the Sami Zayn, Drew McIntyre stuff. But like, WWE is taking a chance on a superstar that has all the potential in the world, but she's just kind of lost right now. And to your credit, she's not like the greatest baby face in the world. When she was like the hugging Bailey with the inflatable tube men, like that Bailey you never thought could turn heel.
No.
And then they turned her, it was incredible. And now that they've turned her and she's been vicious, and we've seen that vicious side, now that they turned her back babyface, and I think she needed to turn face with the build up to WrestleMania 40 with IYO SKY.
Yeah.
Like, now it's kind of like flat, it's like, okay, let's get back into the meat and potatoes of this thing and see if we can give her a story worth getting excited about and worth getting our fans excited about. So like that whole, just like, it kind of like, you hear that screeching sound. Like, have you ever seen the show Severance? Like that screeching sound during the intro of the show, right? And then at the same time, you're getting like almost the very demonic Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda laugh. Even more scary coming from Bailey. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I hope they don't let us down, though. I really hope they don't let us down.
The only thing I'm concerned about is, I don't think if they're going to build this to something special, it doesn't fit the IC title. And then if it does be something big, we've got heel versus heel with Naomi. So something has to build where it's Naomi dropping the title, unfortunately, to a face, and then Bailey running in and maybe beating down on Rhea or whoever takes that title from Naomi. So I think this is a very long play. This is going to be a lot of vignettes and a lot of I think we're going to see the clothing change. We're going to see the makeup altered. We're going to see the hair kind of change, maybe like a white streak or something. That we're gonna get a whole repackage of Bayley over the next several weeks. I think that's how we're gonna play.
And we're definitely getting Bayley versus Lyra as the first feud.
Oh, absolutely.
Most likely. Yeah.
Absolutely. People in the chat saying keep it on Naomi for a year. I can see it on Naomi until the Rumble or WrestleMania. Like but
carrying Cross has something to do with this too.
Maybe everything has to do with Cross in the end. But let's go into the main event, and I'm just gonna fast forward right to the end. We don't need to talk about the main event fully because we saw it last week.
I do want to touch on one thing. I thought LA Knight blew out his knees when he jumped over either Braun or Bronson, and I thought he was going to do like a sunset flip over the top rope.
Yep.
But then he landed on his feet and then just did like the drag through the bottom
jolt.
rope. I'm like he's out 9 to 12 months.
Yeah, with both, it was either both knees went or like the quads popped. It looked ugly. I thought the same thing, and I was like, oh God, no, don't do that again. So, but like I was saying, it's the same match from last week, the match from the week before, the ending from the week before that. We know we're gonna get the same thing next week, but this time we're gonna get Roman's running. It's Judgment Day 2023 all over again, and WWE has a system, and it always falls out of SummerSlam. SummerSlam leading to the last week of September, you virtually get the same freaking ending every single night on Monday Night Raw with a little caveat. And then we build into War Games for a month. Is this something you need to fix? Because at the start of my stream, I was like, this is how the end's gonna happen. We're not getting Roman, and the heels are gonna stand tall, and that's what it was. Next week, it's gonna be the faces standing tall.
I mean, there's so many moving parts to a business, especially a multi-billion-dollar business on a 7-day-a-week schedule. Someone's working in that company 7 days a week, right? I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts. I think it's hard to book a show every single Monday night for 50 plus years, especially when the guy booking it has been around for like almost 40 years at this. Like he's been around a long time. You got to book new, fresh, exciting stuff to please everybody every single week. Yeah. Is it repeating itself, and has this kind of been like the moniker for the past like decade plus in WWE? Yeah, a little bit. I feel like post WrestleMania, you get all the fresh stuff. You get fresh matchups. You get fresh feuds. You get exciting things, even though they might not take off as legendary feuds. It's like you get like that dream match you never thought you were going to see for the championship. Where SummerSlam, it's like, okay, you probably get like a big heel turn. You get a big moment. And then after that, for the next several months heading into the winter, not a lot of things change. Yeah, the whole Judgment Day, like, dude, the Other Side by Alter Bridge is like a nightmare in my head, because like that tune would kickstart every Monday Night Raw for like 18 months, like 2022 all the way through 2023, early 2024. Monday Night Raw was all about the Judgment Day, and they weren't even dominant. They got beat by Cody Rhodes and Zayn and Owens like every single week. It felt like. This is better to me. I know maybe week by week you want to see something different. I think Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed need to stand tall as the dominant, powerful force on Monday Night Raw week in and week out to just prove that point, that they're an unbeatable force until a guy like Roman Reigns or CM Punk or whoever they want to be the guy that's going to eventually dethrone Rollins in that group. Maybe it's Braun Breaker long term, right? You know, they get beaten from within. The only thing I don't like about recent booking here, Steve, is that they're making the group look strong without actually making Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed look insanely strong. Yeah, they're putting beatdowns on people, but they're not getting W's. That team has not gotten a W as a tag team match yet, since they've joined forces 3 months ago. Like, yes, you can tsunami Roman Reigns all you want. You can tsunami Jey Uso. You can tsunami Punk and LA Knight. You could spear them if you're Braun Breaker all you want and look dominant, which they are. They are dominant heels, and they are dominant, badass, individual professional wrestlers. Yeah. But they need to win matches.
They do.
Like, they're not winning matches. They're just putting beatdowns on these guys and standing tall with their leader, who's looked strong for... And I give all props in the world to WWE for finally putting Seth Rollins over in a way that he's desperately needed for years now.
Yes.
He was a top guy as a babyface in 2022, 2023, 2024. And granted, he was the world champion for like a year, but beyond that, when the title wasn't on him, he was just losing matches left and right. I'm glad that he's finally on top where he belongs, and at the same time elevating two of the top stars that the WWE has to offer over the next 2 decades. But Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed need to win matches. They need to pin people in the middle of the ring. They need to submit people. And I think there is no better way than Clash in Paris to have Bronson Reed beat the OTC Roman Reigns.
Wow, Roman taking another L. That would be crazy.
It doesn't have to be a clean win. It does not have to be a clean win, and I don't suspect it to be a clean win.
Mm-hmm.
But having Bronson Reed squeak by with a win and then tsunami him to the point where Roman Reigns has to take 3 months off.
Yeah.
That'll make Bronson Reed look really, really good. And if you're asking me who is, technically there's not a weak link here, but if there was a weak link between Rollins, Breaker, and Bronson Reed, it's Bronson Reed, because Breaker's not taking the pins in these tag team matches. Bronson Reed is taking a lot of these pins.
Yeah.
So I think Bronson Reed needs a huge win. And I think if Roman just beats him at Clash in Paris, assuming that that's the match they're going with, if he just beats him, it's like, okay. I feel like he's just kind of like a heavy for Seth Rollins. He's not necessarily being pushed as a next big guy in WWE. Those two need to win matches, though.
I think the one thing we all have to remember, though, and I agree with you, but I think this is a very long play with this faction, with the Vision. And with every major team, like, just remember watching the Shield when they came out. Seth and Ambrose were that tag team, and yeah, okay, they won matches, but they weren't like excelling because they had to be, behind the big dog, behind Roman Reigns, and it was all about Roman, and they slow played that for how long? Until Plan B came into play, and then all three of them found major success, minus Roman. Roman took another 5 years to get his success. So I think we're looking at the same pattern here. This is so early in this faction's togetherness, or grouping. We're very early, but I see where you are with this. But I think give it 6 months. Give it 6 months and see where we're at that point. So, But anyways, man, we covered Monday Night Raw. Guys, let us know in the comments what you rated on the YouTube channel. I know the chat's live, and I know you guys can all rate Monday Night Raw for us here. But if you guys are live still on the YouTube video, make sure you put a rating down below. And Jack, what do you got?
I give it a crisp, solid number, the number 7. It gave us storylines to chew on heading into next week, and storylines even to chew on heading into SmackDown on Friday. We didn't get the title match we thought we were going to get, but we got a title match, and didn't end the way we thought it, but we also got storylines to sink our teeth into. The ending was predictable, but like I said, I think this faction and the Vision needs to stand tall week in and week out to be that annoying heel faction that makes you think no one's ever going to beat them until someone finally beats them. So I give it a solid 7 because it did its job, even though it wasn't like an overwhelming episode.
I'm completely aligned with you. I was going 7 out of 10 the second that show ended. Exactly what you said. They gave us a lot to think about, a lot to digest. I'm not saying the wrestling outside of the IYO Roxanne match was phenomenal. I think there was some interesting segments that might not have aired in the US, but they definitely aired in Canada, which gave us some stuff to chew on as well. I'm really interested in the next 4 weeks. I'm more interested in the build than the actual in-ring. I'm more of a sports entertainment fan right now than I am a professional wrestling fan. And I wish people could separate that when they look at these shows and say, okay, these vignettes, there's your sports entertainment. These matches, there's your wrestling. I wish fans could separate that as easily as I can. I really don't care about the wrestling the next couple of weeks. I'm just more interested in the depth of the stories that we're getting. So 7 out of 10. Hell yeah. Clash is going to be phenomenal. This week, NXT, SmackDown. Glad we could do this every week. And guys, any final thoughts there, Jack?
To all my Jackaholics watching around the globe, follow me at Jack O'Hara TV. Remember to follow us. Like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube channel, even at Straight Shoot Podcast. Anything for you, Steve? Anything you want to say to the chat?
The only thing I can say is stay tuned to some upcoming news on the Straight Shoot Twitter and the Straight Shoot, all Straight Shoot channels. We are changing from Straight Shoot Podcast to Straight Shoot Unfiltered. That is moving forward, and a lot of big things going forward. If you were in my Twitch channel last night, you would have seen some of the really amazing things that are coming. So stay tuned, and like always, be good people.